So business B quadrant culture, a true business builder culture, which, guys, let me, one of the things that I said last week is that we have to know that in the world of lead-driven sales, it is tough to have a true distribution builders culture unless it's something that we band together and fight for, especially with the distribution builders that we get together on Thursday night. So a B quadrant, okay? It's the awareness. It starts off with the awareness that every single person you talk to is either a candidate for living benefit life insurance, or they're a candidate to start their own business. They're either a candidate as a potential business builder, or a candidate for a policy. So that's everybody you talk to, and everywhere you go, you're building your business. It's not like, well, I only sell to my leads, and when I'm not selling to my leads, I'm just John Kight, whoop-ba-doo, just what, no, it's like everything you do in a builder's culture, everything has a purpose. And I can't stress that enough. It's everywhere you go, you're going to meet your next regional manager. There are no off times. You think about the way you're dressed because people look at you. Listen, when you become a multimillionaire, you can dress however you want to dress. But when you're still fighting to become financially free, guys, I'm just even in your downtime, you ought to strive to look nice. Invest in good clothes. I'm not telling you you've got to wear a coat and tie to the grocery store, but what I'm saying is when you do go to the grocery store, pay attention to how you look. Pay attention to how you present yourself, because you never know where you're going to meet your next regional manager, okay? So in a builder's culture, everywhere you go, you're working, and every person you talk to, every potential person, whether it's at a gas station, somebody pumping gas beside you, whether it's a grocery store, a restaurant, going to the dentist office, it doesn't matter. Wherever you go, your potential next big recruit is there. Are you prepared to meet them? Are you opportunity going somewhere to happen? Okay, that's a true business builder's culture. B quadrant, it is the dream of passive income and personal freedom. Do y'all understand that? It's the dream of passive income, not active income. Guys, I'm about sick up to hearing these Equus videos of these guys that are only talking about sales. It's like, and I'll mention it again in a little bit, but it's like, why are y'all getting excited about how you're flipping a burger? Whether it's virtual or face-to-face, does it matter? Does it really matter? That's our job. That's our job. Selling mortgage protection is the easiest thing in the world. It's somebody that fills out a lead that's just gotten a mortgage or just refinanced. Guys, don't make what we do hard. Yes, I'm excited about virtual. Yes, I'm excited about the rollout of Equus Virtual on November 1st. But don't make it hard. It's buy a lead, call a lead, sit with a family. It's finding who wants coverage because they have an emotional reason for their beneficiaries to get coverage. You've uncovered that, and now you're fighting with them to find the right company. Mortgage protection is not sales. Don't think of yourself as the greatest salesperson ever because you're making $250,000 or $500,000 a year in mortgage protection sales. Guys, come on, this is lead-driven sales. But see, we make the S quadrant bigger than it ever should have been, okay? Now, I got to be careful because I can't speak like this on a Tuesday morning because there's a lot of S quadrant people that take what I'm saying way out of context. What I'm saying is that if you're going to build a business, you have to look at the S quadrant 100% totally different than the guy or girl that's out there really wanting to sell insurance for the next 20, 25 years. Okay? So everywhere you go, there's your next recruit, man. The work you do, okay, B quadrant is the dream of passive income and personal freedom. The work you do, now listen to me now, okay, this is a secret. The work you do in B quadrant largely, yes, it's prospecting, yes, it's interviewing, yes, it's checking interest, but the big time work in B quadrant is personal development, growing you. You got to grow you, and it's drawing your team out all the time. And it's learning how to draw your team out, S quadrant, to think about what your S quadrant team needs. And it's drawing out B quadrant, thinking about what your B quadrant team needs, okay? So that's the work for a builder, is personal development, drawing your team out, and every 2 to 3 days, having your to-do list made up of drawing your team out and going off of what you see and how do I expand this. A builder is constantly thinking about expanding his or her agency, okay? B quadrant is focusing on your structure every single day, because you know it's the structure of your business that produces the result. Barry, on this past Monday's call, talked about how vital it is to learn how to at least build a little bit of depth, a little bit of vertical, and get 4 deep to find a duplicator, right? So B quadrant is always knowing what type of work you're doing inside of your structure, okay? Guys, the way most people build an organization is a lot like if somebody wanting to build a house and all they do is hammer 2x4s together. Because for most people, building a team, all they think it is recruiting people. I'm recruiting 35 people today. I'm recruiting 35 people. I got 55. I signed ICAs in the last 10 minutes. And they have this ICA-itis, thinking that building a team is only recruiting people. Well, that is the same thing of a builder, a house builder, thinking that they're going to build a house by hammering 2x4s together. Guys, is hammering a 2x4 together part of building a house? Sure it is. Is recruiting people part of building a team? Sure it is. But you're no more going to build a house by hammering 2x4s. You can go hammer 2x4s together from now till the cows come home, and you'll never end up with a house. You can go recruit people till the cows come home, and you'll never end up with a team. Do you understand that? Do you get the fact that structure is what produces the result that we're all looking for, and the result that makes a team is called a right person? And a right person engages in and duplicates the system. They don't try to make their own new system. You know, one of the things that I would do is I would look at Barry Clarkson and I would go, Barry, tell me exactly what to do. And the last thing I'm ever going to do is go do something that Barry freaking Clarkson wouldn't do. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. I'm going to scale my passion back just a little bit. Focus on your structure every day. Consistently adding width and building. Okay, adding width is building your credibility within your team. Those people that don't have width, I don't care if you're the upline or not, you don't have credibility. Your downline, they will look around you for somebody with credibility. And let me promise you something, if you don't have width, If you don't have 10, 15 agents direct to you writing business, that is either a lack of work on your part, or it's a lack of belief in who you are and what you're doing. It's a lack of belief, or it's a lack of work. If you believe in who you are and you believe in the system that you have, and you're out there sharing the opportunity, let me tell you something. The easiest thing in the world is to get wide. The easiest thing in the world is to get width. Why? Because all you're doing is talking to people about what you're doing, and you're magnetic enough to attract people to you. People what's that guy do? I'm not really sure. I just want to be a part of what he does. Like, I'm not really sure what he's doing. I just want to be a part of it. You see, people join your team because they're excited about your excitement. They're excited about your expectation, right? That's why they join your team, not because you sit down and show them every little I or T or whatever, and just make sure they understand it. Hey, let me tell you something. The best people in the world ain't going to understand what they're in probably for another 3 to 6 months, okay? So focusing on your structure, okay? You're always booking a meeting from a meeting. You're always touching your people. Every 2 to 3 days, you're touching them. You're having a conversation with them. You're moving them forward. Like Nick Theodore, I love when Nick Theodore talks about recruiting is a lot like a game of tennis. I put the ball on your court, you hit the ball back on mine. I put the ball on your court, and as long as we keep hitting the ball back and forth, everything is great. But the very moment you stop hitting the ball back, I move on and find somebody else. I don't find out why you didn't hit the ball back. I just move on. That's called building your business out of strength, okay? B quadrant is promoting books and managing the self-image building activities for your team, okay? Because every great distribution builder knows that the organization size will never outgrow the self-image of the organization. And here's the challenge with that. The self-image of the organization is not my self-image. The self-image of the organization is me and all of our regional managers. Okay, the self-image of our organization is me and all of our regional managers, and then throw in all of the other agency builders. It's a collective self-image. And here's the thing, the purpose of these Thursday nights, it's not to teach you something new every Thursday night. The purpose of these Thursday nights is to get a business builder's culture established that we're all operating on, and we go from one Thursday to the next. And you guys, you will get to the point where you go, okay, by next Thursday, I'm going to have 7 or 8 ICAs signed, and I'm going to have 2 or 3 people that are always, I'm going to build my pipeline, and I'm always going to have people coming out of my pipeline. But I'm managing the self-image, okay? I'm working individually with people managing self-image. I'm listening to what they say because they'll tell me what their inner voice is saying. It may sound negative to me and you, but it gives you a chance to correct it because you can let them know, hey, that's not true. What just came out of your mouth is not true. Okay? It's not true. Okay? So listen to me. Next 90 to 120 days, go off of my thought process, not yours. Trust more in my thought process than you do in yours, okay? That's the establishment of a coach-student relationship. B quadrant is constantly teaching the system, the basic system, okay? And guys, can I tell you this? I've got to bend down. I don't know if okay. Can I just tell you this, okay? Yes, we're moving because of COVID-19. We now have a new way of getting living benefit life insurance out to the public, okay? We have a new way. It's called virtual, okay? And I love the attitude behind these virtual, because it's like Nick Burns said, I'm in the home. I'm just in the home via my computer screen, but make no mistake about it, I am in the home. See, that's one of the first statements that I ever heard from a virtual guy that made me love it. Like, I get that, okay? But for me personally, I love getting kneecap to kneecap with people. I love being in my car. I love driving around. Eastern North Carolina is the most beautiful place in the world, and I loved that my territory was like a 3, 4, 5 hour radius. I loved that. Okay. So I loved face to face. I loved the fact that I learned so much about my clients when I pulled into their neighborhood. I learned even more about my clients when I pulled into their driveway. I learned even more about my clients when I walked into their front door, into their home. Okay. So I recognize virtual, there's a lot of advantages to virtual, but there's also a lot of disadvantages to virtual. And here's what we're going to do on this team. Here's what we're going to do with the Cornerstone Group. You're going to know that it's okay to do business the way you want to do it. Okay? We're not going to have any managers out there saying, my team is 100% virtual. Bull crap. If you've got somebody in your team that wants to get in their car and go meet somebody face to face, that's exactly what they're going to do, because they run their own business. If you've got somebody that wants to sit in an office like Daniel McCrae for 12 hours and do virtual, and you're a face-to-face guy, you ain't going to touch Daniel McCrae, because Daniel McCrae's running circles around everybody else doing virtual. Okay? Now, how this whole virtual stuff got established without Mike Hall's organization or Daniel McCrae, it's beyond me. But show me somebody out there getting better results at virtual than Daniel McCrae. Show me somebody. I'm gonna wait a minute. Okay, pull them up, send them to me via text. I want to know who they are. Here's the challenge, though. You can't find them. You can't find them. They're not there. So the Cornerstone Group, we're going to do really good at respecting people, and we're going to do really good at teaching the sales system. We're going to teach the field underwriter system because it's pretty simple. Okay? It's pretty simple. And if John Kight can go out and protect 175 families 2 years in a row so that he can invest in his business builder business, anybody can do it. Don't make it hard. All it is my name is John. I'm the field underwriter assigned to your request. That mortgage you got, it's with Quicken Loans. Looks like it's $76,500, and they mailed you a couple letters, and you fill one of them out. You remember doing that? Okay, good. Well, my job's just to stop the information by. They got me dispatched out in your area on Monday and Tuesday. What's the best time to stop? Guys, don't make it hard. Don't make it hard. The sales, it gives us seed to build our business. Be careful not to ever compete in an area that you don't want to be in long term. Okay? So B quadrant is constantly teaching the basic system. It takes somebody real smart to complicate our sales system. It takes somebody real smart. You know what I'm saying? They're probably smart enough where they're going to need to go get a job. B quadrant is understanding the art of being a great promoter. B quadrant people, they are constantly promoting the next meeting to their team. They're constantly promoting. The difference between a promoter versus an announcer will simply post something on GroupMe, and they'll post it like every day. I'm announcing this meeting. Hope y'all see it. I know y'all getting annoyed because I'm doing it like every 5 minutes. That's announcing something. Promoting it is Don King getting in your face saying, hey, have you ever seen this guy named Mike Tyson? Who's Mike Tyson? You've never seen Mike Tyson? Oh, let me tell you. He comes in, he's got a black cut-off T-shirt. He's got on black trunks. He's got on black boxing shoes with no socks on. He ain't got no tassels hanging off it. And when he walks to the ring, the earth shakes, and he gets in that ring and he goes under that rope and he looks at his opponent over there and they want to run. You ain't never seen Mike Tyson? Here's your chance to see him. And he makes people, they got to go see Mike Tyson. Let me tell you something. If you're not a great promoter, you're never going to have people do what they need to do. And some people sit out there and go, well, if they wanted to do it, they would do it. Bull crap. I tell you what, take that same approach to your kids. If they want to go to the dentist, they'll go. See if your kids ever go to the dentist. Or see if your kids, when they turn 13, 14, you got to go get them a new set of teeth because they ain't brushed them. Oh, they ain't brushed this. Well, if they want to brush them, they go. Let me tell you something. In my house, we brushed our teeth. You know why? Because if we didn't, we got our fannies beat. Do you understand that? And there are teams out there that the upline is a great promoter. And their teams know how big of a deal it is to be at that meeting. Their teams know how big of a deal it is to be on that conference call because you're promoting it, not announcing it. B quadrant is always building relationships upline. B quadrant, S quadrant is like a cat. S quadrant's like, my upline needs to come see me. My upline needs to do this for me. My upline needs. B quadrant B quadrant is you seeking and developing a relationship with somebody in your upline that you want to duplicate. Seek them, get around them, set up time, drive to them. Okay, I'm just telling you guys, there ain't been many 45, 60-day time frames that have passed in the last 5 years. I haven't gone to Lynchburg, Virginia, and whether I went to Spring Grove Ranch or whether I went to the Lynchburg office, I got around my upline mentor, okay? That was me building a relationship with Barry Clarkson. I needed that. Sometimes it was very strategic. Sometimes I had 100 questions that I had to ask him. Other times I just needed to get around him, man. I just needed a couple of hours around him to get my mind right. B quadrant is always building relationships upline. B quadrant is never, ever, ever passing negative, downline or crossline. Don't ever pass negative, downline or crossline. Okay, that is a fireable offense in the world of B quadrant. You don't ever have the right to poison somebody's mind by spreading something negative to your downline or crossline. If you got something negative and you just got to tell somebody, you call your upline and you tell them. B quadrant culture is never doing anything for the first time without checking with your upline. That's called trust and that's called love. When you know your upline has your best interest in mind, because like it or not, if you grow, it directly affects your upline. If you don't grow, it directly affects your upline. Okay, so trust in them enough to say, hey, listen, I've never done this. Before I do it, okay, ego says, hey, you own your own business, dude. Go ahead and do it. That's what ego says, and that's what keeps people broke. But if you call your upline and say, hey, upline, listen, I've never done this. Hey, do you have any experience with this? Like, let me run this by you. Do you know anybody that's done it? Can you check with somebody? Because I want to implement it. I just don't know if it's the right thing at the right time, whatever. So it's never doing anything first time without checking upline. B quadrant is constantly seeking to be the growing upline for your team. B quadrant is constantly setting the pace of personal growth and personal business width. Okay, you're constantly leading. Just like S quadrant, like you ain't gonna get beat in the field. Let me tell you something, dude. You ain't gonna outbuild me either. You ain't. Let me promise you. And I'm laughing, but this still stands today. I'm 53, and let me tell you something. I hadn't met the guy yet that can build me in building business. I hadn't met the guy yet that can beat me in recruiting. Okay, now hopefully there's a whole bunch of you out there that hear that and go, well, it's on. It's on. I hope it's on, but I hadn't seen the guy yet, only because I haven't met anybody that I really feel like that guy really wanted a team like I wanted a team. See, does that guy really want a team? See, I find people all the time that want money, they want overrides, but do you really want a team? That's what I wanted, and that's what drove me. I wanted a team. I wanted a group of people that I made a difference with, that I was a meaningful specific to. That was my goal. That was my dream. B quadrant is showing up early with a servant's heart. Thank y'all. All of you guys that were on tonight at 8:57, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm just telling you what, that gets to me. That gets to me because I noticed that. Thank you for being on early. It's showing up early with a servant's heart and staying late because you don't want to miss a nugget. It's never being in the hallway when your upline or a bigger manager is talking from stage. It's constantly being aware that they, and this is not an ego thing, guys, but I always looked at people that had bigger businesses than me, and I always knew that their business was bigger than mine because they knew more than me. And I wanted to soak up. I wanted to ask, you get me in a room with a bigger manager, and I'm not saying a word. You get me in the room with a bigger manager, and I'm not saying a word. The height of a fool in this business, the height of a fool is to get a regional manager with 5 or 6 writing agents, and you got somebody in the room like a Jared Ewing or a Nick Theodore, and that guy with 5 agents is doing all the talking. All you got to do with a little bit of understanding is to sit back and see what's happening, and don't write down a word the guy says, because it's all ego driven. If I knew more than they did, my team would be bigger than theirs. That's always been my thought process, and it always will be. B quadrant culture provides and protects for their downline organization. You show me a true B quadrant person, and they have their group drawn out because they're always thinking about the state of their flocks. The last leadership we had, which was last December, we gave out the book, The Way of the Shepherd. Do y'all remember that? The Way of the Shepherd. B quadrant people are always providing and protecting for their downline. They're always seeking out what's the state of my flock. And a true B quadrant person will fight to the death for their team. B quadrant leaders take their skill set. B quadrant leaders recognize the skill set that they have. They take their skill set and they make something good happen for their downline. So that is that I wanted to get that on a recording all by itself, but that is the builder's culture, the distribution builder's culture. What I just read out there, a lot of those traits. Okay, so hopefully you'll have written those down. Hopefully you can think about how to implement those inside of your organization. So right now, guys, I've got more. I've got my whole topic tonight about how to explode your agency.